This is one of a series of videos in which I review and critique the GitLab Basics documentation. The topic of this video is the Create a Project documentation. It's one of a series of step-by-step guides on the basics of working with Git and GitLab. So I haven't completed the other three tasks here. I'm assuming that creating a project is the next in the logical steps. So I'll click on Create a Project to view the documentation. Okay, well, thankfully the title remains Create a Project, so that's good. So I'll read, projects combine many features of GitLab together. Okay, that seems fairly simple, but it doesn't actually tell me what a project is. It says, of course, they combine features of GitLab together, but why would I want that? What are the benefits, perhaps, of having these combined? And is that a choice that I can make myself or not? I'll leave that for the moment. There's a note here about avoiding reserved project and group names. Okay. Seems a bit odd to put that there straight up to the introduction, but at least that's noted. To create a project in GitLab, in your dashboard, click the green New Project button. Okay, I'll carry those steps over in the dashboard for a moment, but for the moment, I just want to continue reading this through. Click the green New Project button or use the plus icon in the navigation bar. This opens the new project page. On the new project page, choose if you want to, and then we've got 4 options. Okay. Create a blank project, create a project using with one of. Okay, so with shouldn't be there. Project templates, import a project from a different repository, run CI/CD pipelines for external repositories. Okay. I've got 4 options here, but there's not a lot of information about, again, when I would choose each of those 4 options. Blank. I'm just looking here further on. There looks to be a section here about blank projects. Okay, I create a blank project, project templates, custom project templates, push to create. Okay. Yeah, just some additional information to help me choose between these 4 options would have been useful. For the moment, I'm just going to go over to the switch to the GitLab UI and look at the new project option. So it says in your dashboard, click the green New Project button or use the plus icon in the navigation bar. So come over here to my dashboard and I can either click on New Project or click on the plus symbol that says New Project. For the moment, I'll click on the New Project button here. Okay, so it gives me a description of what the new project here is. I've got these tabs, project name, project URL, etc. So I'll come back to the explanation, choose if you want to, and then you've got these 4 options. Okay, so those 4 options match the tabs here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I'll continue with blank projects for the moment. Blank projects. I'm just thinking that title perhaps should be Create a Blank Project. Okay. To create a new blank project on the new project page. Okay, so I have to have already selected the new project page. All right. I think that could be a bit more clearer, but that's okay for the moment. On the blank project tab, provide the following information. Okay, so you're filling in the field. So there's project name, project description, visibility level, and initialize repository with a README option. Okay, so project name. Yep, okay, that appears there. Project description, that's optional. Project description, optional. Visibility level. Okay, visibility level. Initialize repository with a README option. Okay, that's here. Initialize repository with a README. Okay. So here we've got the project name, project URL and project slug. They're not described in that document, are they? No, okay. So perhaps they were added, but they're not covered here. Okay. Come back here for a moment. Project slug. That comes up with a tip. Please fill out this field. Okay, that seems fairly obvious, but I think some more detailed text would have been more useful there. Okay, project description. Seems odd that not all of these fields have pop-up tooltips. That one does, but that's not very helpful. Project description, it seems, doesn't. Also, importantly, the name doesn't. Given that there are restrictions on what words I can use for the project name, it would be helpful to have those come up here as well. Down here in visibility level, there's a question mark. I'll just hover over that, see if it comes up with a tooltip explaining. No, that's a link to another document. What happens if I click on that? Okay, it describes here. Okay. Just coming back to this for a moment, the blank project tab. I really think that could perhaps, I don't know. Just wonder if that could be a little more obvious. Anyway, okay, so we'll come back to the documentation. So it seems the project URL and project slug are not described here in the blank project section. They may be explained elsewhere. And then step 2, creating a new blank project, is to click create project. All right. Project templates. Talks about templates, populate necessary files, get started quickly. 2 types. Okay, again, some explanation as to which of these types and what they're used for would be useful if I'm given a choice. It's not quite clear whether this section, project templates, is directly tied to here. Let's see, there's a hyperlink to, okay, to that section. Okay, I can understand that. I think that might have been a little bit more clearer, but that's okay. Built-in templates. Built-in templates are project templates that are developed and maintained in release of GitLab. Okay, so they come with the product. To use a built-in template on the new project page, click on the Create from Template tab, select the built-in tab. Okay, so again, that assumes that we've clicked on New Project. Okay, from the list of available built-in templates, click the Preview button to look at the template source itself. Use Template button to start creating the project. Okay. Is it bit unclear? Is that a choice between these 2 options, or am I to do those in order? Should those perhaps be sub-steps? Maybe 2A and 2B. Finish creating the project by filling out the project's details. The process is the same as for using a blank project. Okay, so filling out these fields. All right, that's pretty straightforward. Tip, you can improve the existing built-in templates or contribute new ones on the project templates and pages group. Okay, custom project templates. Okay, so here we had the built-in templates described. Now it's talking about the custom project templates. Creating new projects based on custom project templates is a convenient option to bootstrap a project. They're available from the instance or group tabs. Okay, I wonder which one is perhaps recommended or why you would choose between those two. Perhaps instance is templates that are available in the whole GitLab instance and group in just a specific group. That would make sense. Okay. To use a custom project template on the new project page. So again, we've had to go to the new project page and select this option. On the Create from Template tab, select the Instance tab or the Group tab. From the list of available custom templates, click the, okay, so that's the same as using a built-in template. Finish creating the project by filling out the project's details. The project is the same as for using a blank project. Okay, again, as we did before. For information on configuring custom project templates, instead of actually creating a project that's from a custom template, this is how you would configure them. Okay. And here, okay, custom instance level project templates and custom group level project templates. So again, yeah, when it was talking here earlier about they're available from the instance or group tabs, then yes. So they're either available either for the whole of, or apply to the whole of the GitLab instance or just the group. Okay. The wording here seems a bit odd. Custom instance level project templates for instance level templates. So 3 of those words are repeated, and the same here. That gives you more detail about configuring them. I wonder whether perhaps that could just be removed and that could be elsewhere. So I wanted some more information about templates. I could perhaps just look to the templates documentation, I imagine. That's a nitpick anyway. Push to create a new project. Okay, that seems new. If I go back to the start of the document, you can create a blank project with one of the available project templates, import a project from a different repository, run CI/CD pipelines for external repositories. Okay. So that doesn't, yeah, what's this about? When you create a new repo locally, instead of going to GitLab to manually create a new project and then push the repo, you can directly push it to GitLab to create the new project, all without leaving your terminal. Okay. So if you are already in a terminal and looking to create a new Git repository, you can also have it at the same time have the project created. Okay, that seems quite useful. It's just odd that that's not described or listed as an option earlier in the document. That'd be an easy addition though. Okay, it goes on. If you have access to that namespace, we'll automatically create a new project under that GitLab namespace with its visibility set to private. Okay, what namespace? If you have access to that namespace, which namespace? A specific namespace or not? Let's have a look at the example commands. Git push using SSH. Git push set upstream git at GitLab namespace non-existent project.git master. Namespace. Okay, so they're talking about the GitLab. So if you're wanting to create the repository in a specific namespace, then you can also have the project created, assuming, but only if you have access to that namespace. Okay, that makes sense. Well, it makes sense now, but it was rather confusing earlier. Okay. This can be done by using either SSH or HTTPS. Okay. Once the push finishes successfully, a remote message will indicate the command to set the remote and the URL to the new project. Okay, all right, so this is output from the git push command. To configure the remote, run, and it gives the command there. To view the project, visit, and it provides the URL. Okay, so to define the remote, you run that command, and to view the project, you visit the URL. Okay, that seems pretty straightforward. So you create the Git repository and the project. No, I imagine you have to have created the Git repository and then you're pushing it to GitLab or the GitLab instance. And when you do the push, it's creating the project at the same time in this specific namespace that you define. Okay, that makes sense. Might be handy to perhaps have some means of indicating namespace and non-existent project as being something that you define yourself. That is, that you would give the namespace. You don't literally use namespace and literally use non-existent project. That should be fairly straightforward, but still, it's just a tiny bit confusing there. Okay. So that seems pretty straightforward in pushing to create a new project. One thing though, I'm just noting here, this is, you can give the name of the project, in this case repository, non-existent project, and the name space. But I wonder how, if you've created it from the command line with using the push method, I wonder how, and we come back to the blank project creation section, I wonder how you then complete these fields. So if you've created a project from the command line, can you then come back and fill in the project name, project description, visibility level, and initialize the repository with a README? Actually, no, that last option wouldn't apply because, of course, you've already created the Git repository, but those other elements, I wonder if you can come back and create these later or complete these later. That's the main question. And again, as I said earlier, it's just odd that it seems that option of creating the creating the project from the command line is not listed as one of the options here. So it says to create a new project in GitLab on the new project page. But in fact, the other option is to not use the GitLab UI at all, but to use the command line in pushing the repository to the Git repository. Sorry, pushing the Git repository to the GitLab instance creates a project at the same time. So it seems that that should be listed here as one of the available options, so that you either create from the command line or from within the GitLab UI. Okay, that's it for this particular video. I'll end it here.